Thanks again for watching one of my YouTube videos. My name is Levi Nolasco. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Realty here in sunny Las Cruces, New Mexico. In today's video, I'm going to take you on a tour through Sonoma Ranch, and that's one of our most popular neighborhoods here in Las Cruces for a couple reasons, which we're going to go over. And I'll also give you some information that you need to consider before moving to Sonoma Ranch. A lot of people from out of state, when relocating, end up looking in this area. And so I just wanted to show you a few things about the area so you know what it has to offer. Before we get started, I just want to say I have a House Hunters episode coming out on HGTV on April 20th at 8 o'clock MST, 9 o'clock Central. So if you're available, feel free to check it out. That'll give you a nice little tour of what we have to offer here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. When I'm not out here making videos, I'm helping people just like you relocate to the Southwest. If you're interested in Las Cruces, please feel free to give me a call. I also want to mention that I've relocated 3 times across country. I've moved from Las Cruces to Seattle, Seattle to LA, LA to Austin, and Austin to Las Cruces. So 4 times, I guess. So I know what it's like to make the big move, including going through all the emotions and all the different things associated with relocating. So if you have any questions at all, even if it's not real estate related, I would love to help you out. One of the first questions I ask whenever people call in inquiring about moving to Las Cruces is, what is your lifestyle like and what are your hobbies outside of work? And the reason I do that is I start trying to narrow down neighborhoods that I think people will like. And a lot of times Sonoma Ranch will fit a lot of people's criteria and check a lot of boxes. I myself live in Sonoma Ranch right now, and so do a lot of other realtors, so that'll tell you a little something about the area. To put it into one sentence, Sonoma Ranch offers an active outdoor lifestyle with easy access to trails, parks, and amenities. Sonoma Ranch is located to the east part of town, closer to the Oregon Mountains, and it borders I-25 and Highway 70. It's situated above the valley, so you have spectacular valley views, and you can see the horizon all the way into Mexico from some parts of Sonoma Ranch. And let me tell you, there's no better show on earth than catching a sunset from Sonoma Ranch. Now, before we dive into the pros, I do want to talk about one thing that comes up very often, and that is RV parking. And you would think that in the middle of the desert, where we have a very active and outdoor lifestyle, that RV parking would be allowed everywhere. Unfortunately, RV parking is not allowed in Sonoma Ranch and in a couple other highly desirable neighborhoods. I always tell people, don't buy a house for your RV, but that's easier said than done. I myself love my desert toys and I love the recreational vehicles that I have. I would hate to have to store them somewhere else and not have them close to my house or be able to check in on them from time to time. So I do understand that aspect, but just note that if you're looking for RV parking, you're going to eliminate a lot of really nice neighborhoods in Las Cruces. Now I want to dig into some of my top reasons for living in Sonoma Ranch. And number 1 is going to be elevation changes. When I was in California and looking to move to a new city, one of the first things I wrote down is that the neighborhoods have to have elevation changes. I did not want to live in a place that was flat. I also wrote down mountains, which you have a perfect view from Sonoma Ranch. And one of the other great benefits of having deferring elevation, and I'll show you in some B-roll, is that you're not neck and neck with your neighbor. So a lot of times your house is not going to be even with the house next to you, which means you're not going to be staring your neighbor in the face every morning when you're outside having a cup of coffee or when you're in your backyard grilling. And as you can imagine, having elevation changes throughout the neighborhood allows for some amazing views in all directions. The second reason that I really enjoy living in Sonoma Ranch is that it has an ease for outdoor activities. I remember living in bigger cities and thinking about trying to get out into the great outdoors. My first thought was usually getting into my car, driving through an hour or 2 of traffic, paying for a super expensive one-day parking pass, finding parking at the hiking location, and then walking a trail with people that have music blasting from their backpacks and trying to squeeze through the slow pokes on the trail. Now in Sonoma Ranch, it's not like that at all. In the immediate vicinity of the Sonoma Ranch area, you have quite a few parks and walking trails. One of my favorites, which I did my first video at, was Desert Trails Community Center, and that was basically an outdoor trail system next to the golf course that is great for walking your dog and just getting a good morning walk in. There's quite a few parks in the area as well. We have Veterans Park and Sagecrest, which actually connect in the back through a cement trail system and actually makes a huge loop. So if you wanted to make a loop all the way around Sonoma Ranch, you can start at Veterans Park and do so just following the trails. I've done it once. I forget how many miles it is, but it does take quite a long time, but it's a very beautiful walk. nice and quiet. You could hear birds chirping. I highly recommend it. Then we also have Sam Graft Park and Miramar Community Park. There's also an archery range out here and Sonoma Ranch golf course. And the great thing about being in Sonoma Ranch is that most of the area doesn't have an HOA from the golf course, so you can live pretty close to the golf course and not have to pay an extra fee, which I think is amazing. They also have a great restaurant in the clubhouse, and you don't have to be a member to go in and have a drink and get a meal. The third reason of why I enjoy living here in Sonoma Ranch is that it is close to amenities. You'll be close to stores like Target, Marshall's. You do have amenities directly in the area, including a neighborhood Walmart, a super Walmart, of course restaurants and clothing stores, different things like that. You're also close to a lot of coffee shops, places like Home Depot, and different stores that you would frequent throughout the week. Reason number 4 that I really enjoy living in Sonoma Ranch is that it's clean, and it's consistently clean. One of the first comments I ever hear whenever I pick somebody up from out of town and we're driving through the area is how clean our streets and sidewalks are. And I would say, actually for the majority of Las Cruces, it's a very, very clean city. But Sonoma Ranch is absolutely kept in great condition. To me, living in a very clean area is super important, and that's a must-have for me. So again, Sonoma Ranch checks that box as well. Now let's talk about real estate. There's a lot of building going on in Sonoma Ranch right now. A few of the builders have just opened up a new phase, and prices are starting over $400,000 now for a brand new build. And I do think new builds are a great option in the current market just because you avoid bidding wars. It's basically like a retail transaction, so you pay whatever the price is to build the house, and then that's it. You're not competing against somebody and bidding, up to $50,000 over. The new home, you get a lot of warranties, a lot of guarantees from the builder, which I think, puts your mind at ease quite a bit. Something important to note about new builds is that the buyer's commission is built into the pricing. So whether you use a buyer's agent like myself or not in a new build, you're going to be paying the same price anyways. So I always tell my clients, why not have somebody to protect your interests since it's already included in the purchase price. I work with all the major builders out here in Las Cruces. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to shoot me an email or text or a call, and I'd be happy to send you some more information. A couple cons to getting a brand new home is the time for it to be built and the change of interest rate, since you can't lock your interest rate in until about 60 days prior to your home closing. This area is also the host of about 4 gated communities. You have the Pueblos, and then you have the Boulders on the Green. One of them is a 55 and up community. The other is just a gated community to the eastern part of Sonoma Ranch. The gated communities do have HOAs, but our HOAs here in Las Cruces are far less than anything you've probably experienced in a bigger city. For instance, the last time I checked the Pueblos, which has a pool and other common use areas, I believe the HOA was like $650 a year. So it's really not bad at all. For those that can't wait to get a new home, I think resale is also a really great option. And as of making this video, there are 17 active homes on the market, and they range in price from $319,000 to $949,000. So as you can see, there's quite a range of housing, from affordable housing up to luxury. Now I will tell you, in some pockets of Sonoma Ranch, you can still get a house for around $250,000. In the last year or year over year, 465 houses sold, and the average sales price was $328,000. The average sold price per square foot in Sonoma Ranch was $160 per square foot. The average days on market was 22 days. As you can see, after going over those numbers, Sonoma Ranch is a very desirable area and a hot market. If you do plan to bid or live in Sonoma Ranch, I always tell people just be prepared to pay over the asking price as long as the property is priced correctly. As this video is being published, I have a listing going on the market for $255,000 in Sonoma Ranch, right across from the Sagecrest Park. So my personal take on Sonoma Ranch, and living here is actually pretty easy and enjoyable. If you want to get out into the outdoors, it's super simple. You just have to walk out your front door, take a couple steps, and get on a trail. If you need to run into town to get an amenity or to pick something up for your house or pick up some food, it's super easy to get around town. And it doesn't feel like a pain or a task to get out of the house to go and pick something up from one of the big stores. For the most part, it's pretty quiet. I live off of Roadrunner Parkway right now, and it's loud at about 6 to 8 a.m. and again, maybe at about 6 p.m. I love that the community is active, and I like seeing people outside and walking around at night. Kind of gives me a little bit more comfort when other people are out jogging and exercising. And I love that there are nice, clean parks out here to go and enjoy with the dog or, with my nephew, or just to go sit there and hang out. Again, nice and quiet. You'll hear birds chirping. So I have my microphone on, my lapel microphone on right now, so you're not going to hear the birds. But if I were to turn my regular phone on and just capture some sound, you'd be able to hear all the wildlife that's out here. Thanks again so much for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you'd like to learn more about Las Cruces. And again, if you're thinking of relocating to the Southwest, please feel free to give me a call. Like I said before, I've been through it all. I do sell a lot of real estate out here. I am a market expert and I would love to help you out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.